Today we talk about origins, spirits of the past. This is a prime example of a film that you would watch when you were younger, and you remember it being so much better than it actually is when you finally get around to watching it. Again, I have been fascinated by this film since first viewing it, I don't know, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. It was a while ago. But ever since I first viewed it, either was on cable television or something, I've been wanting to see it, and I've never found a copy anywhere. Well, there's plenty of copies online, but I like to actually physically go out and search for things and stuff of that nature. But I gave in. This was a little gift to me. I picked it up online. Origin, Spirits of the Past, a full-length feature film. Gonzo and Funimation. Where should we start first with this film? Should we start with the story? Should we start with what it's trying to copy off of? Does it suffer from the Laputa effect? Yes, it does. If you don't know what the Laputa effect is, the Laputa effect is this movie. Castle in the Sky was one of the earlier films that blew up all over the world. Laputa was a castle in the sky. It was the castle in the sky. And for some strange, miraculous reason, video games and future anime feature films had story and plot devices that seem to have been plucked from this film, from this novel. The castle, Laputa, a mysterious MacGuffin from the old world that had the technology to destroy the world below. That's what Laputa was. Laputa was not just a castle in the sky, it was also a very highly technological weapon that could destroy the world below. And an evil mustache twirler Disney villain wanted to collect Laputa so that he could take over the world. Well, that's kind of what happens in this. As you can see, a bunch of ruins here. Well, a long time ago, it's unspecified how long ago it was, but a long time ago, the society of Earth was running low on resources. Sorry about that. So, technology was on the rise, but natural resources, plants, water, energy, that was on the low, dropping rapidly. And the world was trying to figure out how to revive itself, because humanity was on the brink, kind of reflecting where we are currently. We may reach that brink within this century, within the next century, within the next thousands of years. You never know, but we're eventually going to hit that brink. We're eventually going to hit that tipping point where the energy runs out, where the plant life starts to fade away, when the water, fresh water, starts to dwindle and drop until there's nothing left. We're going to hit that brink eventually. We are. It's inevitable. And they hit it in this. Some science doctor people started to think and tinker around with a world regenesis project, merging a thinking biological AI and nanotechnology into plants, and to cause it to rapidly grow, rapidly expand, and all that crap. Something went wrong. I believe they were testing this on the moon in this world, and the moon exploded. The science experiment went wrong. The AI came alive, self-aware, and was a living, breathing, super-spreading thing of green, and it crashed onto Earth into many meteorites all across the planet. And the green started to rapidly grow. It infected humans and turned them into druids of some sort, half tree, half person. And the forest, as they call it here, it just expanded. And the world pretty much ended. Or so we think. Enter whatever this guy's name is. I forget everybody's name in this except for her. I know her name. Her name is Tula, and we'll tell you why I remember her name in a bit. I believe his name is Ganta or something. So I'm just gonna call him Ganta. His name might not be Ganta, but I'm just gonna call him that. So Ganta here is our protagonist. He's a protangan. He lives in a small, ruined town in the middle of two societies. On the left is a massive forest where this society of Neutral Town collect water. Water is then sold to the right side of the society, which is a more human-based technology society, the remnants of the military before the world blew up. I don't know. But there's the three societies. Neutral Town, which is where Ganta is from. The Forest, which is the remnants of the AI, Fabric Forest, all that crap. And they are the sole the controller of the world's natural resources of water. This is how they get water, and if they piss the forest off, the forest says, you don't get to get water anymore. So they have to form a fragile balance here. Balance between man and nature. And that's kind of what Miyazaki does in these films. In Nausicaa, in Princess Mononoke, Miyazaki does the whole man versus nature thing. Why is the whole man versus nature a big thing in this too? This feels like a film that's trying very hard to be a Miyazaki film, a Studio Ghibli film, but it's not, it's Gonzo. But it just feels like something that Miyazaki would have, that Miss Ghibli, whatever, would have thrown out there. Maybe there's some offshoot people who worked on it, wherever. Their names here? No, they're not. Their names are not here. They might have been on the Japanese copy. But maybe the people of the animation team that works on some of the offshoots or whatever that worked on Miyazaki's films, maybe some of them worked on this. I don't know. You cannot quote me on that. All I know is it sounds very similar to a Miyazaki film. So, what happens next? Well, Ganta, when he's going off exploring some ruins underneath the forest, he finds a strange space pod or whatever full of cryotubes. Most of them are full of dead guys because the power is failing. But one of them's still operational, and he opens it and finds the girl, Tula. And this causes the forest people to get very angry. They're like, Tula is a danger. She's going to kill us all. Blah, 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 blah. So they start chasing after the two. Ganta takes the girl up to Neutral Town, where she meets all the people of Neutral Town. The people of Neutral Town, they're not important. Well, I'm not going to talk about them. They're not important. Ganta's best friend, he's not important. Ganta's best friend's sister, who likes him, she's not important. Nobody's important except for maybe Ganta's father. So they're going to he's going to take her to meet Ganta's father. Ganta's father is a tree person. He's sitting in Ganta's home, glued to the wall, merged to the wall. He's basically turning into a plant, a tree. And Ganta's father basically says that when you forge a pact with the forest, your death will eventually be to become a tree, to evolve your lifespan, to become part of the forest and a whole collective subconsciousness and all that crap. So that's all nice and good. And the guy says that you must help the forest and the people and seek a balance between them, because otherwise the forest could be destroyed, or mankind could be destroyed. One of the two may be destroyed, right? And he wants you to save both of them. So that's what Ganta's trying to do. Then Tula and Ganta get separated as the machines of the right side of the town. I'm just going to call them the machine people. As the machine people show up, they talk to Tula, and the leader of the machine people is a person who also claims that he came from one of those cryotubes that she woke up from, and he's from the old world as well. And he explains that he knows of a way, now that she has been freed from her cryotube, he knows of a way to destroy the forest and take the planet back in the name of humanity, to bring humanity in charge of the water again and all that other good crap. So Tula goes with the machine man and all the other machine people. To do that, they're going to find this movie's version of Laputa. It's not a castle in the sky, though. It's just some hard to find location that only Tula can operate, so to speak. Which is a lot, once again, a lot like Castle in the Sky. This girl is this movie's Tula. She is the key to activating Laputa because she is of the Laputian royal bloodline. Her palm print or whatever activates the machines on the Castle Laputa so that it can do all the crazy, crappy whatever. And that's basically what Tula is here for. She basically is here to activate the crazy little old machine thing that's capable of destroying the forest entirely. We're gonna skip ahead to that, because that's where they're going next. This Laputa version of whatever. I don't know what it's called in this film. Maybe they have the name on the back. I don't know. No, it's not called named here, but the guy's name, his name's not Ganta, surprisingly. I just call him Ganta. I think this might be Ganta, but this guy's name is Agito. I knew I got the names confused. It's basically Castle in the Sky. So, Agito and Tula they're now separated. Akito goes to his father, and his father says, go talk to the force. So Akito goes to talk to the force, while Tula goes to the machine people to go activate the little strange machine thing that's now that's basically a volcano. So they go to the Laputa castle thing to activate that machine, and Akito goes to the forest people. The forest people says, you must protect the forest people. You can become a tree. We're going to give you blue, whatever, white hair or whatever. And after that, Akito basically becomes Broly from Broly's Second Coming. Because all Akito does, all Akito says after he turns into the white-haired dude is Tula. That's all he says. He just shouts her name for the rest of the film. He just shouts, Tula, Tula, let's go home, Tula, 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 Tula. That's all he does. All he does is say Tula. That's all he says, and it's grating on my mind. That's all he does. He just keeps shouting after her. He keeps chasing after her. He's a super-powered, superhuman Captain America. And he's punching through the people, and he can turn into a grass tree version of the Hulk or whatever. And he can use his tree arms that are like super-powered arms to beat up the machine people's machines and beat up their machines. And then so, the Machine Man tells Tula once they go find the Laputa castle. The Machine Man says that he is actually the scientist in charge of the plant project, and it was going too slow, so he tried to speed up this process, but he was the person that caused this entire mess to happen. And he's trying to correct that mess. He does not want to turn this volcano into a weapon to destroy the world. In fact, no. He just wants to use this volcano to destroy the forest so that he can correct his mistake and give the planet back to the humans, whatever. For some reason, Agito, who probably now is mind-controlled by the forest or whatever, says that, no, you shouldn't destroy the forest. We need the forest, blah, 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 blah. We like to turn into trees when we die, or whatever, blah, 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 blah. So, he goes and defeats the Machine Man. Tula agrees to go with Agito to Neutral Town, where they get to live in happily ever after. The forest is, not destroyed. The volcano is destroyed, and the machine people agree to form a fragile peace with the forest and the Neutral Town, and everybody lives happily ever after. Origin spirit of the past is basically Castle in the Sky with more technology, sci-fi elements thrown in there. I mean, Castle in the Sky is technology and sci-fi elements too, but it's more of a really, really old technology. You get the feeling that this type of technology would have existed thousands and thousands of years ago in, like, ancient Egypt, 5000 BC crap like that. You think, oh, would the people of that time period have this type of stuff? The castle's really old and aged. There's moss all over the thing. It's a beautiful piece of architecture and drawing. It's beautiful. The volcano in this is just a volcano. It's just a sci-fi corridor. It's just some fancy technology, whatever. I applaud what it's trying to do. I applaud what it was trying to do, but Castle in the Sky already did this story. It already did it, and it kind of did it better. I mean, I like the idea of the whole superhuman thing with the trees and all that crap, but Castle in the Sky already did it for me. I watched this film 13, 14 years ago, and I loved it. I loved this movie. But watching it now, after having watched Castle in the Sky, I can see that it's basically, almost note for note, a Castle in the Sky movie. Without being called Castle in the Sky. I mean, sure, there's no Sky Pirates. The Sky Pirate team that was in Castle in the Sky, they're not here. So I guess that might actually mean that this is a lot worse, because this could probably use some Sky Pirates or some cyberpunk pirates or whatever. That would have helped evolve this. Akito's character was pretty interesting in the first half of the film before his hair turned white, but after his hair turned white, all he did was shout Tula's name. He became a one-track-minded dude that's just going like, Tula, 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 Tula. And I got sick of it. I love this movie still, but it's vastly inferior to Castle in the Sky. And if I ever feel like watching a Castle in the Sky film, I'm going to watch Castle in the Sky before I even watch Origin Spirits of the Past. This is a proud addition to my collection, but I felt massively disappointed in my nostalgia. I thought this was going to be a much better watch than it was on my rewatch. But I applaud it for effort. It's a beautiful film, animation-wise, music-wise. It's beautiful, beautiful. The theme song in this film, I recommend you look it up. I'm not going to play any crap for copyright, whatever. So I'm just going to tell you to look it up. It's on the very same site you're watching this on. Just look it up. You're going to find it. It's a very good song. It's a very good theme. And whatever. Be imaginative, everybody. I don't know how to end these things.